with you who sit in the same Congress as you. They know what you fight for every day. They know that we call you our auntie and our queen and everything else, but they're still missing the mark. And you're saying, I don't care what consequences you bring my way, I'm still going to speak truth to power.
Yeah, first of all, I think people now have seen how this president defines himself. They've seen how he does not care about anything, he has no respect for the Constitution. And so anybody that can't spell their own wife's name.
Hey, Melanie!
Patriotic and don't even know the words to the Star Spangled Banner.
Give us one more.
Tries to tweet and can't get through a good tweet because he doesn't know how to spell. So
until that,
he defines himself in that way, so we can just dismiss him and stay focused on the issues and deal with this cabinet and the fact that they're attacking the ACA, that is Obamacare, will not support affordable housing, and trying to do away with public education under Betsy DeVos. And so let's stay on those issues. Now, they don't like it because I stay on those issues and I'm dealing with this immigration problem. Not thinking about all of comprehensive immigration now. We can deal with that after we take back the House, after we take back the Senate, but we must focus on the children. We must focus on the fact that they have separated these children from their parents. I don't believe that they really know where all of them are, and even though the courts have demanded that they get these children, back to their parents, they're now asking for an extension because they can't get it together. They have not had systems where they can track the children and know where they are, track the parents, even suggested that some parents may want to just leave the country without their children. This is horrible. This is unacceptable, and I want to tell you why it's so meaningful for me to be an advocate for the children. We are the descendants of slaves that were sold on the auction block. They separated our families. They took the fathers and sent them one way, the mothers over to the big house, the boys to work in the plantation and in the fields. Some of those families, most of them never ever got back together again. So we know what it is to separate children from their parents. And no matter who they're doing this to, we should be on the front lines to say, no, this is destructive. We know the consequences of all of this, and I'm going to stay on that along with all of the other issues. So what are they doing? Now they want to censure me. They want me to shut up. And they have introduced resolutions and something called Judicial Watch. Not only is supporting me being censured, they want to expel me from Congress.
And Congresswoman, can you just for a moment, for the people who may not know, can you just describe what is, just define censure so people understand?
What they would like me to do is to step in what is known as the well that's at the front of the House of Representatives, with everybody convened, all of the members convened. And then they want the speaker to get up and basically denounce me and talk about what's wrong with me and why I am not a credible member of the Congress of the United States. And I'm supposed to stand there and take it. I'm never going to step into anybody's way. I'm never going to accept being denounced by the speaker or anybody else. And so that's what this is all about. And they think that what they will do is embarrass you so much, demean you so much, undermine you so much that you'll come crawling back saying, I'm sorry. I will not do that.
And we won't let her do that, will we?
No!
Somebody tell them. So, Congresswoman,
Yes.
I have to ask you this. Death threats, I know you received them for years. Are you ever afraid?
I cannot be. I cannot be afraid. I must be sensible, and I know how to take care of myself and what I need to do to have security. But I cannot stop my work because of fear. I cannot allow fear to interfere with my strong belief in justice and equality. I believe so strong that people deserve to be respected, that we deserve to be protected by the Constitution of the United States of America. And I wake up every day really believing that we can do that if we work hard to accomplish it. I am the eternal optimist. And even if I go to bed at night thinking, oh my God, what a terrible day. I don't believe what they said today. I don't believe what they did today. One good night's sleep, I get up the next morning, I'm optimistic about the future. And so I want the young people to feel a part of what we're doing and be involved in it. And really have, thoughts about what they would like to see this country be about. I don't want any of our young people to give up on the fact that we deserve to be accepted, respected, and dealt with in incredible ways. I want the young people to know that this is their country, and they have a right to be at the table. They have a right to have a voice. And so this is what I work for every day, and I cannot allow fear to stop me.
Thank you. I'm sitting here listening to you and tearing up because I know what your work has meant to me. You gave me my first internship in politics. Sorry.
Angela, I want you guys to know that when Angela came to work with us before she was ever, the major director for the Congressional Black Caucus, all of that, she came to a part of the district that I had at the time that I don't have anymore, and it was in the Watts area. And we had to go into the public housing projects and deal with some issues with what was going on with gangs, etc. She never skipped a beat. She came in, she hit the ground running, she worked with us, she had no fear, and she was pleased to do the work that oftentimes people are afraid to do, or don't think they know how to do. And it's because of that she has evolved into one of the most significant young people in this country. Someone that we are proud of, who can go on television and speak for us, and debate for us, and argue the case for us, and do it with all of the facts, and the understanding, and the appreciation for who we are, and from whence we came. You give Angela Rye a big round.
Thank you for filling for me too. Always has our back out. But what I was trying to say was, I've never seen you be afraid, and it's one of the things that I admire the most about you, because in your strength, you still can demonstrate vulnerability. You still demonstrate compassion.
Yes.
That this country is just lacking right now.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I want you to continue to be our leader. And so to see folks who will criticize you, I take it very, very personally.
Yes.
Because I know everything you stand for, and I think that I can speak for this room. We're like, what are you doing? You're just on the wrong side of history. Not you, talk about the people who are criticizing you. But I also look at people like Stacey, who preceded us on the stage, people like Andrew Gillum running in Florida, Malin Marshall running in Wisconsin for governorships. What advice can you give them? Because when you're in those roles, people expect you to compromise so much you can lose yourself. How do you not lose yourself?
First of all, I think we should be supportive of them running for office. Thank them for their courage and do everything that we can to show them that we support them and we believe that they have a right to run for office and to hold these important seats. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you this. Oftentimes they talk about the big money in politics, and it is absolutely nasty. It is just too much time that is given to raising money. But guess what? If all of us send $1, $2, $3 to the elected officials that you believe in and that you want to support because you think they'll be good for the community, for our neighborhoods, for our cities, etc., we would not have to rely on going and begging begging people for big dollars in these parties and in these events that we don't really want to be in. So think about your power. Your power may lie in sending $1 to an elected official. And now it's easy to do. You can go on the internet and you can get on ActBlue and you can send your elected official $1 or $2. And guess what? That could mount up to, you know, $300,000, $400,000, $1 million in a short period of time. And most people think, oh, I don't have any money to contribute. Yes, you do. And remember, a lot of $1 can add up to millions of dollars. So think about how you can use your power of your dollar to help support elected officials.
When we were in the back, we had a moment to chat with Stephanie Brown James, who started Collective PAC, an entity that is helping elected officials run all over the country who look like us and represent our values. There are also entities like Black PAC and Higher Heights, who supports Black women candidates. What else can people do? You talked about giving directly to these candidates. They can support these PACs. They can volunteer for the candidates that they support, for the PACs they support. We have to start engaging in the PAC game too, because
we've got to organize more PACs.
Organize.
I just talked to Ed Lewis, who was one of the founders of Essence, and he has started working with a group that's coming together to form a PAC so that they can give more support to Black elected officials or candidates who are running for office. And so we have people who are involved in groups. It may be a group around a group of people who went to school together, and maybe they're all working in the same kind of industry. But if they get together and form a PAC, then they can raise money in some very specific ways, and they can disperse that money out to candidates. So look up political action committees and get some help in how you can form one in your neighborhood, in your group, and see how that can be helpful to you in supporting the candidates that you think will do well for the community.
Earlier, you touched on the number of people who are running for governorships, running for the United States Congress. There was quite an upset recently. Joe Crowley, who was the chair of or is still the chair of the Democratic caucus, lost to a young woman in the Bronx.
That's right, and the interesting thing about that is not only had that district began to change, as many districts are changing, and you know, sometimes the party does not see that change. They don't recognize that change, and in not recognizing that change, they continue to think that the people who've held the district for a long time are automatically going to win. Crowley had $3 million, and she had only $200,000, and she beat her. And of course, that's a real upset. That's an upset, and you're going to hear a lot from her about what she did, how she did it, and how it came about.
So even that figure, I remember seeing the figure. I think she spent a little over $100,000 in her race. How can you match that up then, right? Like we say often, the only way to win is with money. But she did some substantial door knocking too. She showed the bottoms of the soles of her shoes. Why are people giving up on like old-fashioned grassroots organizing, which is something that you know very well? Why are people pretending like that's not a thing when that's definitely how she won her race?
No, you're absolutely correct, and I think a lot of it has to do with consultants who are coming to this business, and they have advised that the only way you can win is by the purchase of television time. The only way you can win is by spending huge sums of money in direct mail, and they have basically eliminated the door-to-door and the old lawn signs, which held us in good stead for so many years. And so we encourage, particularly young people who have the strength and the ability to get with the elected officials and walk. It's good for you. Not only is it good for the candidate, but it's good for you to get reconnected in your own neighborhoods and know who's there and what it's all about and what their concerns are and what they're talking about and what they'd like to see elected officials do. So I encourage walking door to door. We call it precinct walking in the greater Los Angeles area in California. But if you have an opportunity and you can do nothing else but go to your candidate's office, the campaign office, and let them know that you're willing to walk, that you're willing to knock on doors, and you're willing to put up some lawn signs to show support for your candidate, that would be a great contribution, and I advocate doing that.
Okay, well they're telling us to wrap up, so I definitely want to just give you the opportunity. I know, you guys. But I want to give you the opportunity to just, and with some parting thoughts, we have to be encouraged. We have a lot of work to do. We have a big fight ahead of us. We have a great fighter. I told y'all she's 7 feet on the inside. But just let us know what else you think we need to be doing, how we can stay engaged in the fight, even when every day we see there's another issue. Remy talked about that on the panel yesterday. Every single day there's something new. How do we stay encouraged and motivated for the fight, even though some of us are more tired than you and you're about to be 80 in August?
Well, let me just say this. I want to thank Essence for putting on this festival every year and bringing us together. It gives us an opportunity to talk to each other, to engage each other, to get some new ideas, and it also gives support to some of us who are doing what we think you want us to do when you show up and you let us know that. And so thank you, Essence. Let's give Essence a big round of applause. Thank you.